Welcome to Startup Showdown. Today's webinar is just getting started and folks are trickling in, so I'm going to give everybody a moment to get settled. We have a fantastic episode today, our 19th episode to date since we launched our series back in 2020 with Tech Council Ventures, talking all about B2B and SaaS companies. We're very excited to continue this series powered by Tech Council Ventures and this special episode in partnership with Captivate Talent as well. I'm going to be your host for today's adventure. My name is Jasmine Ward. I'm the head of experience at Tech United. Here on screen, you're seeing all of the fantastic folks that are joining me on this episode. We have 3 incredible startup pitches today and 3 amazing and experienced investors and experts that are going to be sharing their questions and feedback after each pitch. If this is your first time joining Startup Showdown, welcome. We encourage as many questions as possible in the Q&A or in the chat, and you're welcome to provide any other feedback or say hello, share what you're up to today in our chat and keep an active conversation going. Today's episode, B2B and SaaS, basically these are the technology platforms that are driving our actual businesses. They range from the tools that are absolutely critical to our day-to-day life, such as Zoom, which is currently enabling us to all be together virtually today, to the incredible use of AI, chatbots, and other types of technology that allow us to not only make our businesses more efficient, more productive, and grow at a higher and more attainable scale than maybe ever before. Without any further ado, and I do want to remind folks that this episode is being recorded and it'll be available on our Tech United YouTube channel tomorrow. I'd like to introduce our 3 judges for today's episode, starting with Startup Showdown veteran, Mark Cole.
Oh, that's very nice, Jasmine. Thank you. Wonderful job so far, and thanks again for having all of us here. I'm with a partner with Tech Council Ventures. We're a New Jersey-based early stage investor. I'd say we're pretty technology agnostic. We do a lot of healthcare deals, but technology agnostic. We're sort of a mid-Atlantic investor. We like to invest basically between Boston and Washington, D.C. and early stage. So we write checks between $500,000 and $3 million, say. And I think the real focus here with my partner, Steve, Jim, and myself is we're very engaged investors. So we really won't invest if we can't be helpful. And as most of our portfolio companies will tell you, once we get engaged, get invested, we're very engaged and we try to be helpful. Thanks for having me, Jasmine.
Awesome. I can attest to that firsthand. Mark and his team are huge advocates for not only the companies that are in their portfolio, but those that they're interested in investing in or even earlier on in the pipeline. They do office hours with us just to provide support on a regular basis to budding entrepreneurs in our network. And we are super grateful for Tech Council Ventures. Going on to our new face today, Dan Roosh. Great to have you on the show.
Thanks, Jasmine. Thanks for having me, everyone. My name is Dan. I'm a general partner at Row Ignition. I run the Row Ignition Fund, which is the early stage fund out of Row Capital Partners, which is a venture fund based out of New York City. We invest $1 to $7 million into early stage technology companies across a wide variety of sectors. I focus mostly on enterprise software and Web3 platforms, but we do a lot of health tech, fintech, ed tech, marketplaces, AI, robotics, you name it. We look for businesses that are experiencing high velocity growth due to tailwinds of innovation that are in the categories that they focus on. And I'm very, very excited to participate today. My background is mostly all operational. My last startup, we raised $32 million for Predictor Y Combinator. So I'm very familiar with the grind, so to speak, and spending some time on the other side of the table these days, but excited to partner with entrepreneurs to help them solve some of their challenges that we made the mistakes of solving and didn't solve some of them on my last go around.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that introduction. We're thrilled to have you here. Looking forward to getting some of that operational insight as we hear some of these pitches going forward. Last but not least, Tech United Propelify longtime friend, Chris Gannon.
Thanks, Jasmine. My name is Chris Gannon. I'm the founder of Captivate Talent. We help early stage founders build their revenue teams. We generally work with seed, Series A, and Series B companies when they're ready to go to market and scale and hire their sales, marketing, customer success leaders, and then build out their teams from there.
Fantastic. Chris, do you have any plugs to make before I go into our first pitch? Any
No,
interesting jobs right now? Anything to share?
you know me, that was my plug, but we are hot for revenue leaders actually in the fintech space right now. Got a couple really nice searches that came on our plate to end the year, so that's what we're looking for.
Awesome, sounds good. All right, so Aaron and Hugh are going to be joining us a little later back on in the episode for their startup pitches. We're going to start with Catherine at ImpactableX, who's going to share her presentation. Catherine, whenever you're ready, we're excited to hear from you. And don't forget, folks that are listening in, pay attention, chat questions in the Q&A, comments in the chat. Catherine, you got 5 minutes.
Thanks so much, Jasmine. Hi, everyone. Delighted to be here. I'm Catherine Griffin. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Great. So I've worked at the intersection of social innovation and impact investing for nearly a decade with such preeminent institutions as Bloomberg Philanthropies and the Obama administration. And I can tell you that the impact in impact investing is informed by good intentions, storytelling, perceived values alignment. If I came to you and said, I can make you a lot of money, invest in my company, trust me, would you invest? If you're one of the 400,000 funds with an impact or ESG mandate, you should be able to apply the same analysis to impact that you're accustomed to with traditional financials. And now you can. As we speak, 5 trillion has been invested for ESG or impact, but 72% of capital managers have no measurement strategy, no way to evaluate the integrity of impact claims at a company level or demonstrate accountability to their stakeholders. And it's becoming a major problem for them as public scrutiny mounts. Here's what's going on. LPs want to align their capital with their values, so they invest in funds selling impact or ESG products. But the reality is to report out on impact, those funds need to manually collect data from every company in their portfolio. And when they go to do so, they will find that portfolio companies do not have impact data. So they need to work with them one-on-one. And even in the best case scenario, they have no way to compare a justice tech company with an ag tech company with a climate tech company. And they're facing intense pressure from their board, from regulators, and from their LPs to demonstrate that they're a responsible steward of investor capital. With ImpactableX, portfolio managers simply invite a company to enroll and we take it from there. We guide them through the model configuration process, setting metrics that align with global standards or investor mandates. We prompt them to enter a few simple data points or estimates if they don't have them, and we take care of the rest. We can automatically quantify outcomes. We translate impact into economic value, which creates a common denominator across different impact verticals. And then we generate a dashboard that's interactive with summary analytics where impact meets finance. We generate a total impact value projection, like a revenue projection, an impact multiple of revenue, and an impact multiple of capital, each of which is comparable. Users then export these to investor dashboards, and investors can now report on aggregate portfolio impact, relative fund performance. They can automate impact performance tracking with full transparency into the validity of underlying claims. And because fund managers now have complete portfolio impact data analyzed consistently and transparently, they're able to allocate capital more intelligently, prove impact to their stakeholders, raise more capital by differentiating their fund, and save operational costs. And this works in every impact vertical for every company and every portfolio. We're just 2 years old, but we've already bootstrapped to national recognition. We have repeated sales to over 70 clients. Leading VCs have made investment decisions because of our work, and we're already seeing evidence of a viral flywheel effect. We sell 3 key products: companies pay and investors pay. I sell IX Portfolio to anyone who manages a bunch of companies. Could be Shopify, an accelerator, a fund. They then enroll portfolio companies in IX Build for a single static analysis or IX Manage for ongoing tracking and management. Similarly, portfolio companies can enroll directly and invite their investors to enroll in IX Portfolio. This creates a sort of viral flywheel effect because everyone benefits from their stakeholders being on the platform too. We offer an accessible price point on both sides with multiple upsell and cross-sell opportunities. I see a clear path to 200 million in revenue in 5 years. We're already generating revenue on a shoestring budget and have built a robust waiting list and pipeline for our next generation technology. If we convert just 10% of our pipeline, we'll hit 6 million ARR year 2. From there, we'll invest in content marketing, referrals, and partnership programs. And I think we can hit 600 funds by year 5, a fraction of the total 400,000 fund market. We're raising $1 million round to release our next generation product, onboard current customers in our pipeline, and build out our team. We'll invest in sales and marketing and release both our company and investor-facing products. If we really want to address the world's most pressing challenges, we need to build and invest in solutions that can drive lasting and scalable change. We translate impact into the language of traditional finance and articulate the ROI of building a better world. Thank you. Happy to take questions.
Fantastic job. Appreciate that you were exactly on time. Let's start with Mark's feedback.
Oh, thank you. Catherine, that was fabulous. A really well done pitch and presentation, and you certainly, you understand your business, and obviously from your background, that makes sense. So I love the fundamental mission. I mean, I get it. It makes a lot of sense to me. Tell me a little bit more about the tech itself that's accomplishing this, and the tech that you built out to do it and such.
So at this stage, we have decided to build the next generation software using no-code technology. It's inexpensive. It allows us to validate all of the processes, and we'll be rolling this out sequentially over the next year. At some point, then scrapping that to actually write code, at which point we'll know exactly what to build. So we're building all of this off of the Bubble technology platform right now.
Okay, and let me just follow up and ask one other question. You said you've got 70 customers right now.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get them? How did you do? How was that? What was the sales process?
Well, the work that we've done emerged initially out of an award-winning accelerator with Bloomberg Philanthropies and the Obama administration. It was during that time that this problem became really evident and that we designed the scaffolding of this solution. Over the last 2.5 years, I've been delivering this work using hacked together off-the-shelf tools, serving the 70 repeat clients. We got those from the network that I have with leading accelerators, leading impact funds, entrepreneurs all over the world, reaching out directly on LinkedIn and email, testing different messaging and marketing segments. And it's clear that there's demand for this work and a demonstrated need for it. So companies are not only willing to do this, they're paying for it. Our initial strategy was, as you might think, to go directly to the funds, the ones with all of the companies. I tried that initially and faced some challenges at the time. They were worried about placing undue burden on their portfolio companies. They were sort of fine with doing this DIY in-house on their own as like standards really evolve. So I backed up and I said, okay, let's go directly to targeted entrepreneurs. Demonstrate again that not only are they willing to do this, they're paying for it. And when we do this work, companies naturally want to share it with their stakeholders. So they do, and inevitably those stakeholders come to us and say, this is really interesting. We'd like to do this across our portfolio. And that's exactly what we've seen and how we've grown so far. And that's what's really populating the pipeline I referred to.
Cool. Let me hand it off to Chris and Dan.
Hey,
Yeah.
Catherine, I have a question or two. What's the competitive landscape look like?
Yeah.
I thought I've seen a company or two, like I think one was called Clarity, that does something similar. Do you do something similar, or if so, how does it differentiate?
Sure. So it's important to distinguish between the private markets and the public markets. Two very different landscapes. We're targeting the private markets first. The other players in that field are very, very early. This is a burgeoning space. Most of the competitors we're looking at are dashboards, they're data aggregators, which means that if you don't have impact data, you can't use them. And the reality is that most companies, I can promise you, lack impact data. You might have, one single siloed stream of data, CO2 emissions, for example, but it doesn't tell you a whole lot. So it precludes a majority of users from being able to use it at all. And then there's absolutely no intelligence layered on top of it. So we think we can capture the majority of the market by offering a user-friendly platform for all companies at every measurement level, every stage of development, and then offer analytics at a company level that are then comparable, benchmarkable, that can be aggregated for investors and other stakeholders. So we sit in the middle of these two markets, and we serve both effectively in a way that none of the other competitors can.
Okay, so it is a little bit of trying to get there first.
Yeah, it's wild west right now, for sure, which is why we're raising money, because I want to be able to run faster.
Dan, your thoughts?
Catherine, I know I'm only allowed one question, but I have two, so just bear with me. Number one is certainly, and to echo Mark's comments, great pitch, very articulate. Clearly, there's a need in this market. I do have one concern that in a bear market, ESG initiatives tend to take a backseat as other sort of top line fundamentals become more important, especially to LPs. Having said that, talk to me a little bit about what fund managers are doing today, because what they're doing today through their ESG initiatives, it may not be optimized, but it is working. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist. So how are they demonstrating results to their LPs today and their shareholders, number one? Number two, I'm assuming you are contacting each of these customers directly and informing them and educating them, and there's a sales motion, a sales process with a sales team. If I have it right, you got 70 customers and 200K in revenue, which is just shy of $3,000 per customer in revenue. How do you think about scaling that so that you can either have a self-serve platform where customers can sign up themselves and swipe a credit card, because you can't really justify an outbound sales team at that revenue rate?
Okay, so I would push back a little bit on this working right now, the way funds are currently doing it. A lot of them, as I showed on my initial slide, they're facing major public scrutiny. So no one quite knows how to nail this. And I can tell you there's a lot of confusion, for example, between the difference between ESG and impact, for example. Second of all, regarding bull versus bear market, a lot of funds have a mandate. It's written into terms with LPs, so they must report out on this. I would also note that several reports are showing that ESG funds outperform. So what TBD, how capital gets reallocated in a bull bear market. In terms of the sales process, 3,000 per company, it's quite lumpy. And that's with, just a year or two of sales. I anticipate average company contract value annually at about $7,500. So I think that will expand considerably. And, I think too, once we build brand recognition, the sales process will become more streamlined, because more investors will request or require this from every company in their portfolio. And companies will recognize that if they want to claim a world-changing innovation of some kind, it needs to be validated by a recognized brand. So I think a lot of the education, while certainly expected, particularly as we move away from early adopters, will still be required. But I think a lot of the education piece will be a bit easier as we're able to demonstrate more use cases and the success of companies as a result of having these kinds of analytics with both their investors as well as customers and partners.
Yeah, thank you.
One quick question that I got from the audience is just about how you've individually when you work with the companies, like are able to help them not only measure their impact, but then turn that into something that they can use to grow their business, like as a marketing or sales tactic. Is there an element of this to that?
Absolutely. So what we do is guide company through the definition of their impact, setting their key metrics and outcomes, drawing from most commonly referenced metric in a particular industry, investor requirements, global standards, building off of the standards that are already set and the trends already in place. Then we prompt them to enter a few simple data points. A lot of times these are sales data points. How many users are you providing access to clean water in India? From there, using the backend database and AI, we're automatically able to translate that into outcomes, increased access to clean water, reduced waterborne disease. We're automatically able to translate that into economic value, cost savings at various levels for varying stakeholders. In terms of the marketing value, on the dashboard that we create at a company level, users have an option to export analytics to 3 platform types. One is sales and marketing, populate your portfolio, export to social media, share with a customer. Each time that it gets exported, our mark will be present. They can also export to an investor accelerator dashboard. And the third that I'm super excited about is monetization platforms. And this is where NFTs come into play, potentially carbon market monetization opportunities and other platforms as well. But this absolutely has sales and marketing value and investor fundraising value as well.
Fantastic. I also received a bunch of other questions from the audience, so I'm going to run through them in the next 2 minutes with you, okay?
Sure.
All right. What would be some of the challenges to transition from a no-code platform to a coded platform, like you were referencing earlier?
I plan to use the no-code platform to streamline that transition as much as possible. We'll have to think through data integrations and other sort of architectural elements of it. But I think we'll know exactly what features and functionality to prioritize, and we'll be able to build the coded platform as we phase out the no-code platform.
Fantastic. Jesse asked if this is going to be for large funds or could work for emerging funds.
Both.
Yeah, okay. Fantastic. And my last question from Nicole is how much of this is about creating a standard measurement framework and educating the market that this is the way to do it? And then a follow-up to that would be, what does this integration with current systems and processes for the customers look like?
Sure. So to answer the second question first, the dashboard plugs into source sales and revenue data and automates impact calculations on top of that. It also plugs into source impact data, which we enable them to collect and plug in with other platforms. In terms of educating people that this is the way to do it, we want to build off of global standards. There are thought leaders out there. There are various councils that are setting standards. Yeah. We don't claim to be the UN. We enable the application of the standards and practices that thought leaders have put forth. The analysis we do, particularly around economic value of impact, is what we think the market really needs and will become adopted across the industry, the impact ecosystem. But the actual quantification of it isn't reinventing the wheel. It's just making it extremely user-friendly.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Catherine. We're going to bring you back on for closing remarks, that we're going to bring up You speak a little bit about Commerce Blitz. You can share your screen whenever you're ready, okay? You've got 5 minutes to present.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
I'm Hugh Sinclair, and I want to introduce you to Commerce Blitz, your operations hub for e-commerce and B2B distribution. We have built the next level, next generation of distribution management, allowing retailers and wholesalers to track and react to events in their distribution channels in real time. The problem becomes quite apparent when running a small business. The more channels you add, the more vendors you add, the more inventory errors you get, the more increased velocity you end up with, the more errors you are prone to. This is a $46 billion a year problem, and 31% of all shrink or loss is due to logistical errors or mismanagement of product. It's a pretty mass market we're going for. We're looking at small businesses in America. We're focused on the up and coming business, the business building its product line, building its customer base. $24 billion in the market, but it's a very wide market that we can address with our solution. Concentrating on orders, inventory, and product. We can do a lot for a growing company, getting them ready for an ERP solution by producing integrations into their sales channels, but also integrations with their vendors, their own supply chain, their own warehouses, allowing them to be scrappy and adapt to the market with a single point of access, connectivity to all, and ability to allocate and balance on their rules to their timeline. Our two products here, our first one here is on Shopify, and it's built directly as an app on Shopify, and it expands the product information tools for a Shopify user. It also allows you to do more cataloging than you ever thought before, allow you to manage your Amazon account a little easier, product buys, and unifies the platform, but also provides a wholesale portal for their wholesale customers. So allowing them to manage a catalog in one place and streamline everything through one event. Our Omni product does connect to Shopify as well as to our PWM, but is an addition to, and it gives them more warehousing ability to integrate with other vendors, with drop shippers, with other warehouses. Allows them to augment their product line as well as expand rules and balance their inventory, route their orders and inventory, and aggregate their different vendors. We have a platform-focused distribution model, and on Amazon is where our main app is running now. And we are also Amazon partners, Shopify partners, and we're in talks with Oracle NetSuite to create a partnership there. But we're targeting smaller businesses, so concentrating on Shopify, concentrating on Amazon, concentrating on growing companies allows us to promote to them and bring them through our onboarding process. Once they're into our onboarding process, we have a 95% retention rate, and we have a 20% week-over-week growth on our app. Limited by budget, but that's what we do when we do a startup. We have some competitive landscape here, but I like to refer to them as frenemies. Most of our direct competitors, such as Ecom Dash, Scoop Vault, Inventory Cloud, would do a lot of the routing, but not any of the warehousing portions or the augment of both, allowing a business to be scrappy, get up there and compete with the bigger retailers in the market or bigger vendors. SAP, Oracle NetSuite, and Salesforce are great augmenters to us. They deal a lot with supply chain or customer service related functions, but not in the distribution model. So wholesale management to a Walmart is fine, but to your 52 smaller retailers, that becomes a spreadsheet jockeying issue, and we solve that. My favorite investor speaks of us as more of a unifier of platforms and not as creating a new one. We're here to bring everything together and allow you to manage easier. We have a fully commercialized and built product on Shopify, and it's running, and people are loving it so far. Our Omni platform has 100 plus API integrations now and growing, and a full open API. Early adoption rate, as I said, was 95%. We're doing great there. And our process is in patent. We're in patent process as we speak. And our growth rate has been fantastic. I did this chart in quarters to help exemplify that. We're looking to continue growing. More adoptions, more people, and more growth. In 2024, looking to break even with our revenue streams. At the top here is my team. I've built product with them for over 8 years now, getting older. And we have, I have one eggs under my belt, but we've had many years of developed product and working great for delivering an actual working product. And built on our business team, surrounded by Jared Northup here, our entrepreneur in residence, who does building up a good business platform around a good product, helps grow a company. Our money here that we're looking for is basically 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. We need some management, but we need that in the sales category. So we need some sales managers, and we need to do some more marketing, get that out there. Still reacting to the environment of the product and continuing to develop code, and producing better and better products as we move forward. Thank you. My name is Hugh Sinclair. You can find me here, or check me out on YouTube as the Warehouse Guy, commerceblitz.com. Thanks for the time.
Thank you, Hugh. I'm going to start with feedback from Chris Gannon.
You're muted, Chris.
You're muted, Chris.
There we go. Only been doing this for 2.5 years now. Hugh, great pitch. I enjoyed it. I had a quick question for you about your pricing was $18 a month for the app and $300 a month for the other product. And your strategy and part of your funding would be to hire sales managers for that, to sell that, or?
So the app is an average of $18 a month. So we have a free version and we have a couple of paid tiers. So averages out about $18 a month in income. The sales portion is mostly for the Omni side of things and selling the full logistical support platform to customers. The platform provides a great way to lead customers in and get them to a little taste of what we're doing and how to react to the market. So organizing data is most.
And that price point was around $300 a month, right?
For Omni, yes.
Okay. I was just trying to figure out from why maybe instead of a sales motion, double downing on like a marketing motion and having more like a product led growth, maybe just more cost effective.
I'd love to talk about that. That'd be great. Yes, that's an option. We have a wonderful, the app market gives us the ability to really get some attention, but also provide some useful skills for people. And it gives a direct line of communication. So the more we get out there, yes, it's a two-pronged approach. Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, thanks.
Good. Dan, your thoughts?
Hugh, this was great. Really enjoyed it. I'm actually an investor in another e-com logistics company, so I'm fairly familiar with your space and all the challenges, and certainly what you're solving a big problem here. Can you talk a little bit about it said you had 116 installations today from a traction perspective. How does that translate to current revenue traction, and how do you expect that to grow over time, both in volume of customers and also pricing?
Revenue wise, it's been slow and steady. Mostly $18 a month for those users. We have a couple on Omni on our PWM. It's on our market ready portion. But most of the revenue, when they sign up, they come onto the app. They then add the services and keep adding services as we go. So it's not so much a turnover or trying to attract more. It's growing them as a business. So the revenue tends to grow with each customer every year in a good way. So we help them make more money. They want to pay us more money. We're happy to do that. And that's generally how. So the more as you move into Omni, the more vendors you sign up, the more channels you want to add. They all become a little bit extra each month, and so it works that way. I think that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Mark, your thoughts?
Thank you. Hugh, terrific presentation as well. Thank you for that. Can you talk to two things? Talk a little bit about the competition. Most importantly, how you differentiate. Why are you better than the competition? What do you do better? That's first. And the second thing is, tell me 3 years from now, where's your revenue going to come from? From the Shopify app or from the Omni program?
Competition wise, yeah, absolutely both. we'll go through. So competition-wise, we're great in the sense that a lot of our direct competitors who do the routing and things that manage a dropshipper account don't give you the ability to then add a warehouse. Don't give you the ability to mix and match and create rules that pull from your warehouse first and then from a dropshipper, dealing with your return goods, things of that nature. So it allows you to route some stuff, but it doesn't give you the ability to really pass it off to your accounting software or actually see a full product cycle. So on that sense, we provide some ERP solutions to them. Now when we're looking at ERPs tend to work a lot with the supply chain. So they deal with manufacturer to delivery to how many containers go to Walmart this week. But they don't deal with the on-hand inventory, your distributed inventory across your market, whether it be US or Europe. And they don't allow you to create these rules that allow you what a custom-built ERP solution would then add to. So from out of the box, you can start small and really grow your company without any restrictions, because small businesses need to be a lot more scrappy than they ever have been to do that. So that's where we differentiate in a big way. So our balance or our ability to route from vendors to channels or back and forth, and our ability to aggregate things, create rules and define things and trigger off alerts for yourself.
Okay, but before you go on, is that something difficult for your competitors to add to their tech platforms?
In a lot of ways, yeah, because the way we deal with our inventory system, we have a proprietary way of balancing inventory between different channels, but also holding on hand versus virtual versus available inventory. They'd have to rewrite a lot of their code just to figure out how to balance between these things, because Amazon's not connected to Shopify. And your inventory might be an FBA, but you might have some stuff in your warehouse, but you might have some. So the way we wrote this code was to deal with an omni-channel situation. It just worked very well with vendor management as well. So now that we can put the two together, it beats the competition pretty soundly.
Okay, and you were going to talk a little bit about what the future looks like in terms of the product and where the revenue is going to come from and so on.
So I love Omni. Omni is my main platform. It's a beautiful place for people to get into. Once you adopt it, it's very sticky. So you can add little functions in there. But the more channels you get, the more apps you need. And we want to be that app provider as well. So we want to provide that integration on the channel, help you manage the channel better, but also integrate with our Omni solution. So yes, our apps are most likely going to grow more than our Omni solution. In the sense that if you have a Shopify account, an Amazon account, an eBay account, a European sales market, things that you want to put an app in each of these places, that enhances that goal as well. So we're trying to create an ecosystem of apps around our Omni product, starting with Shopify.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Terrific.
We have 2 minutes to answer audience questions, Hugh. So we're going to start with, we had a question about your churn rate. Can you confirm that you said it was 95%, correct?
Once you end up with onboarding, it's 95%. With apps, when people install a free app, it flies very quickly. So some people install it one day and delete it the next. That churn rate's a typical app market on free market churn. But once you're in with us, it's 95%. And yes, we're very sticky.
Okay. The next question is about that. How do you increase the stickiness of the customer to reduce switching costs or app down, like removes?
We manage product. So we help the customer manage their product catalog, put images in, get videos associated, deal with SKUs and UPC products, but also manage your warehouse and logistics chain. Once you've set us up and got us into that part of your business, it's very hard to remove us because we're doing a good job. That's the idea. So the stickiness comes in the fact that we're right in the back office. We're helping you run your operations.
Okay, fantastic. And what is your ideal customer profile, or what have you learned has become your ideal customer profile?
I like interesting customers. So I like customers that sell a product that is unique and not out there. Maybe someone who sells a glass blower would be a fantastic customer for us. Someone who makes a very unique piece of art and then has to sell it on Shopify and Amazon and only has one of these things. So that kind of customer is someone we're looking for. But we also like people who do mass market things, anything that intrigues me on the customer side. But we are open to all. We are pretty mass market.
Okay. Fantastic. We'll bring you back on for the closing remarks. Thank you for presenting and answering all these questions. We're going to bring Aaron on for our third pitch of the day with Let's Talk.
Great. Thank you so much for having me. Can you guys see the screen?
Not yet.
No,
We're good?
I
One
don't
second.
think you're sharing your screen.
Yeah, 1 second. Just like that. There we go. Let's try it again. How about now?
Now we've got you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. Let's Talk. We're an AI-powered influencer marketing platform for your brand or your agency. So the problem, influencer marketing right now, this year was surpassed $16 billion and it's growing really quickly. Everyone's talking about user-generated content to promote things, influencer marketing. Airlines are integrating it into their screens on their airplanes. But the problem is that, just like with Facebook ads, you can now get them up and running and optimized in 3 to 7 days. Google, 5 to 10 days with their Performance Max. But influencer marketing is still kind of done in an archaic way, and it takes 6 to 10 weeks. Let's Talk with our AI-powered solution. You can get a campaign up and running and optimized in 2 to 7 days. So just about Let's Talk, we're an influencer marketing agency and platform that's offering a free AI-powered technology to allow you to run performance optimized campaigns for influencer marketing, user-generated content in all different types. We're going to work on brand collaborations as well. But really the goal here is, and the ultimate differentiator is, there's no subscription fees or no monthly fees. It's basically a SaaS product that we're giving to people to have them run their campaigns. We make our money as a piece of the campaign in the transaction between the brand and the influencer or creator, which we control. But the ultimate goal here is just to run a strongly optimized campaign focused on the results. With Let's Talk, we're the only platform in existence where it's completely free to use. You go on, you put in all your creative brief. The system, through its AI, will pick the creators and influencers that match it best. You click one button, you pick the influencer, it sends them an offer, they accept, the campaign is up and running. You pay before you run the campaign, or you have a billing set up, and the payment comes through only when the campaign is run, where the system allows you to run multiple campaigns simultaneously while optimizing them all through AI, just to focus strictly on the KPIs that you've set out for your company. In terms of the different platforms that are out there, many charge a fee. All of them charge a fee to use. Many of them only allow you to one campaign at a time. Many allow you to talk to influencers, and then you have to negotiate with them, or you have to deal with payments separately. Our platform brings everything in-house, so there's no fees, no negotiations, no contracts. It's all done for you, and again, focus on the KPIs. We kind of sit in the middle on two sides. On one side, there's agencies that are charging tremendous fees to run these campaigns for people. They take a percentage of the cost, plus they charge a management fee. And on the other side, it's just impossible to run that many campaigns at a time. For smaller brands, they don't have accessibility to the influencers, the data, or anything. Let's Talk brings that all in-house into one platform. We have a business portal for where everything will run, and an app for creators to manage their campaigns. Partnering with Let's Talk lets agencies reduce headcount and still run the same effective campaigns to grow their agency. And for brands, it allows them to run influencer marketing without having to hire people to do it, or an agency to do the work for them. We have over 10,000 verified influencers on our platform, which is a huge differentiator. All the influencers that are on our platform have been vetted and meet certain criteria. We've raised over $4 million to date. And this year we've hit about 600,000 in revenue so far, and still going strong with some deals coming in this month. We're hoping to hit about 770,000, and we're growing our campaigns quarter over quarter by 100%. We have over 40 active customers and 7 agencies in there with a lot of repeat business on a monthly basis. So far for our company, since we've launched, you can see on the chart here, we had a safe round. We're in the middle of a bridge round now, where we have about a third of it committed, and we're under due diligence for the rest, and also for to start the Series A. So that's where we're going. We're using that money to grow the company and really take it to the next level by adding additional AI features into it. Our founding team, serial entrepreneurs, the co-founders that have done this before, and hopefully keep growing the company. And the rest of the deck, you have some case studies that we've done and differentiators, but between us and some competitors. But I know I'm out of time, so I'll turn it over for questions.
Once again, thank you so much for staying on time. I think this is the first ever Startup Showdown episode that all 3 companies stayed within their 5 minutes. It only took us 19 episodes, people. So thanks for that. I want to remind the audience to throw questions in the Q&A. I appreciate that everyone's been chiming in there for the first 2 pitches. I want to start by saying that was an awesome presentation. We're excited to have you here. And I'm going to start with Dan for feedback on your presentation.
Aaron, this was great. Thanks. And obviously influencer marketing is becoming a critical part of the marketing stack, and even more so now, given what's going on with the cookie industry and all the struggles there. I didn't completely understand your pricing model. Could we go a little bit deeper into that? You mentioned there's no subscription fees, there's no monthly fees, but it's a SaaS platform. So, and that there's no payment until the campaign runs. Are these transactional revenues? Are they recurring revenues? How do you get paid?
Yes.
What do you also, what is COGS for your business? Do you acquire the inventory before you resell it? Like, what is bottom line, top line? Just explain all that.
Perfect. Sorry, if I had 6 minutes, I could have gone into that a little more, but we had to stay on time. But yeah, so basically our whole platform is that people want the technology, they want to run campaigns. So built in our system with the AI, like I said, we have 10,000 influencers, more than 10,000 that are verified by us and are part of our platform. They're signed up, they've signed all the paperwork. So our AI system has priced them all out based on their engagement rates, based on the KPIs that they've hit with past campaigns. So for instance, if that influencer is $200, normally is that what he would charge. So we're going to connect them with the brand at a cost of, let's say, $250. And we handle the transaction. The money's put in our bank, held in escrow. As soon as the campaign runs and the creator satisfies his role in the campaign, he's paid. We take our piece out of that. It varies somewhere between 30 to 40% is the markup. So we're making it on each transaction. So the technology it sits there. You can use it. You could check a campaign and save a campaign. You don't even have to run it. But when you run the campaign, that's where we take our money and make it. So a 30 to 40% markup on that. Where we're hoping and growing this is on the agency side. For instance, one of the agencies we work with now, we basically have a monthly. It's not a contract, but we're doing all their UGC and influencer marketing. So as they're promoting it out to their clients, it's recurring revenue without it being recurring revenue. I hope that answers that.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Mark, who wants to jump in?
I got I'm curious, Aaron, really cool pitch, and this is something that I've looked into myself for my own company here. I'm curious about that 600K of revenue that you're doing annually right now. How much of that is being done by the agency side of the business, and how much is that truly being done by the self-serve platforms, a technology side of your business?
So right now we're in the process of shifting from agency to platform. So we've been working as an agency and building the platform, leveraging our own technology to learn and build the AI out. Yeah. From that revenue, we have I think it was 7 agencies that are using it. The rest of them are individual brands that are using it. A lot of the brands are using it on a recurring basis as well. For instance, we have one app, cybersecurity app for personal phones. I think for Apple, they did a small campaign with us. They hired us again, and then they asked us to find them a brand ambassador. So those are the types of clients that we're looking for. The medium-sized business that wants to keep doing it. Up till now, our team has been doing it, but now we're starting to push it into the technology and the platform. And as the platform keeps getting more robust, in January, we hope to be able to hand it over to the client, let them do it. We'll obviously sit there, and monitor the campaigns and help the AI along. But the goal is by the middle of next year that this is really fully automated.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so very nice pitch. Really, as Dan said, an important space more and more. A lot of competitors, a lot happening there. We're looking at some right now. I don't understand how you really differentiate. I saw the claim for no fees and so on, but I mean, to be blunt, that's a little bit baloney because somebody's got to pay. You're making money, you're taking your 30 to 40% cut out there. So whether they're paying a fee here, they're paying for it. Okay.
So so no upfront fees. I apologize for that.
Fair. So tell me how you differentiate. What's different and what's special about you?
So on a bunch of different levels. The first is being able to give someone the platform with no upfront cost. That they can use it, they could select and will just see their campaigns in advance, expected results for their campaigns, all without running it or paying anything. That's number one. Number two, that we've already vetted all these influencers and they're part of our network. Part of the problem that we're finding with others, and there's a company in the UK that I spoke to. So great, they're a marketplace. Brands call them, and then they go out and start phone calling, or emailing different influencers. Ours are on the platform, and with one click, it's sending them the request, getting them to join. It's much faster and more seamless. There's no individual negotiation. All the contracts with the influencers are already pre-signed. So once you book them, if they accept the job, it goes. Everything's already done. That's the second big thing. And the third thing is the speed at which we can do it. Because they're all on there, really our goal is that that you shouldn't have to wait 3 weeks. That our platform is giving you suggestions of new influencers. So let's say you put in a budget for $5,000. You put in 2 influencers and run a campaign. And great, you're running the campaign and you still have $4,000 left. Our system is constantly learning from that and suggesting new influencers that'll match it that can work quickly. So you don't have to stop your campaign. It's not one campaign, see the results, run another. You can do a performance marketing campaign on an ongoing basis. The ultimate goal of this is that not only is it that you're running a Facebook campaign, you're running a cross-platform campaign. So our system, we want to optimize it so that when you put in your information, it's going to tell you, based on our data, you should be doing 20% on Facebook, 12% on YouTube, 6% on Twitter, and the rest on Instagram. And the system will help you build that campaign. So, just like Google, their Performance Max is constantly optimizing it and learning in real time and all the recommendations. We want to be that for influencer marketing.
Okay. Real quick question. Do you compete directly with a company called Social Ladder?
Not directly. So Social Ladder, I know them from previous. They're more with brand ambassador stuff, I believe.
Okay, enough. Great.
Okay. 2 questions from the audience. Jesse, who has asked a question every single time, and I very much appreciate that level of engagement, has asked how many of your 10,000 influencers are active?
So they're all active. We're sending different ones, different jobs at different times, but they're all part of the network. And, obviously not all of them have received offers, based on jobs, but we're communicating with them, keeping in touch with them, and really trying to build a community around them so that they're also helping each other and helping promote each other's work. So we are in touch with them, and we're constantly trying to get them, more jobs, obviously, but teach them and educate them as well. That's one of the things with our new app that we launched for them, is that there will be tips and different things to engage with them on a regular basis so that they can become better. So when they do receive an offer, they're more likely to succeed with it.
Fantastic. The second part of that question is, what is your influencer recruiting strategy? And is what you just outlined part of that?
So that's part of it. We have access to a database with real-time data on all the influencers. We're not just looking for how many likes, where we filter out the bots, we filter out the fake accounts. We're really trying to hone in on the people that drive engagement in the various verticals. And we have a team dedicated to every day going in, reaching out to influencers individually, giving them new opportunities that come up. So, obviously the best way to build trust with someone is, here's a campaign, would you like a shot at it? so you engage them that way. But it's a lot of it's word of mouth. We've had influencers that have actually told us that they've gotten more traction from us than they have from their agency in the last year. And they actually went out and made a video to recruit influencers for us because they liked working with us and we were driving them traffic. So, we really want to build a community where the influencers are helping us influence others. But we really do believe that, it's those nano influencers, the micro influencers, and it's even pushing down right now where everyone's going to be an influencer. So it's really, we want everyone here to join the platform, when the time's right and they have, they have the capabilities to do so. Because at the end of the day, within a couple of years, an influencer is going to be me asking you which bagel shop I should go to. It's just, it's the authenticity and the trust, and that's really what's changing in the industry.
Sure. We also just have a question about what's the barrier to competition? Why can't one of your competitors use AI to do the same?
There are other competitors using AI, but it's a combination of all the different factors. For a small business that doesn't want to pay $5,000 a month to use a platform, we give it to them and let them use it. Some don't use AI, some don't have a big marketplace of verified influencers. So it's a combination of all these different factors. That's what makes us unique. And it's not that we're necessarily going to be super unique compared to everyone else, but we really focus on the speed at which we can get a campaign up and the ultimately the optimization of it.
Okay, fantastic. We are going to push our audience choice poll right now, but I'm going to ask you one quick more question before we share the results. Nicole asked, how is the creative that influencers produce vetted, approved, etc.? How is that actually verified as a legitimate part of the campaign?
The creative that comes from the brand?
From the influencer.
Oh, so that goes.
How is that vetted? How do you know that like someone didn't just take the job and kind of do something that didn't actually match the brief?
Perfect. So as part of the deal, the influencer has to meet the creative brief of the client, and the client has an option to send it back to them and say, that, hey, this hasn't met the criteria. They can escalate it to us, which will allow us to look at it and go back to the creator. So, there is a manual component option, kind of reporting where we can go in and look at it, but we'll keep monitoring that. But the influencer ultimately won't get paid if they don't do the job by matching the creative brief. So, it's obviously in their best interest to do the work. If they're not going to do the work, it will lower their score within the system and the ranking, and the AI will affect their ranking within the AI for future opportunities.
Okay, fantastic. So we're going to have Hugh and Catherine come back on screen for the Audience Choice Award results. Before we share who won today's episode, I just want to thank everyone for participating today. I want to especially thank Tech Council Ventures and Captivate Talent for powering this episode. I want to thank Dan for virtually crossing the river to be with us today on this episode. And of course, I want to thank Catherine, you, and Aaron for being excellent founders and presenting with us today and sharing your business's vision with us, because we always love understanding not only what the products are, but what's powering them. And we always appreciate hearing the passion behind why you're building what we are building. I am going to ask Mark one quick question while I tally up the results, and that's Mark. 2023, what's going to be the hottest investment market for startups?
The hottest
investment market. What industry is going to receive the most investment in 2023, if you were to guess?
Well, as far as for me, it's going to be digital health, but but I'm not an expert on the global market. But there's going to be a ton happening in healthcare and particularly digital health.
Fantastic. Dan, your thoughts?
I don't know which category will receive the most. I think climate is becoming it has been an interesting sector. It's not one we focus a lot of attention on, but it's becoming a very, very important sector as the regulatory environment is shifting a huge amount of focus into that space. I also remain very bullish on the Web3 space. Obviously, it's going through a bit of a turbulent period right now, but I think that turbulence actually yields great outcomes, both for entrepreneurs that start companies. It's a great time to start a company right now in that space. And there's some really interesting projects being worked on.
Awesome. Well, today's winner of the Audience Choice Award is Catherine from ImpactableX. Congratulations. Thank you so much all for joining us. We loved
Thank
having
you
you
so much.
here. You're welcome. We're going to send everybody off right on time with our signature high five, and I hope to see you all soon, okay? 3, 2, 1, high five your camera. See you all. Thank you.
Bye-bye.